Yo, what's going on, guys? It's been a little bit. I apologize once again. I'm horrible at this YouTube thing, honestly. This upload consistency, I know, is awful. I'm terrible at updating you guys and kind of keeping you in the loop. And I do apologize. I'm going to try and get better. No promises. So, anyway, I apologize if I'm a little my voice is a little scratchy, or if I'm a little nasally. I'm a little under the weather right now. Not anything super serious, but just coming down with something, and I'm trying my best to fight it off. But anyway, today's an exciting video. As I've mentioned, I'm not the best at keeping you guys up to date. Even since the last update video, some stuff has changed, and I haven't had a chance to update you guys, and I apologize about that. But we are buying another car today. I tell myself every time I'm done buying cars, and then good deals keep popping up, and I'm, as you could say, I guess, an opportunist or something. And so when I see opportunity, it's hard for me not to jump on it. So I think you'll be very surprised by this purchase. This is typically not a car that I would go out of my way to look for, but a very unique one, to say the least. So I'm at the bank right now. I got a U-Haul trailer behind me back there. If you can, I can't really see it. Gonna grab some cash. We'll head that way up to Talking Rock, Georgia, about 30-40 minute drive. So let's do it. Man, getting this thing loaded up with no brakes and not running was a challenge in a very muddy driveway in the middle of Talking Rock, Georgia. But we got it, and I stopped under some gas station lights so you guys can get a quick peek at it, and I promise it is cooler than it looks. So here we go. The craziest thing about this car, if you can read that odometer, it has 91,000 original miles. I'll get in kind of the specifics of the car a little later, but it is a 1994 Saturn SL2, I believe is the model, and it is turbo with a built motor. Currently not running. It's having some kind of a fuel issue that I got to sort out. It's getting spark and it's got great compression, but for some reason it's just not building fuel pressure. I'm not sure why. So we're going to dive into it over the next week or two and see if we can figure it out and get it running again. But 91,000 miles and technically a one owner, which is insane. Never thought I would own a Saturn. Never told myself a Saturn was a car I'd like to own, or, I mean, the old red lines are cool and stuff, but other than that, I mean, not a car I was ever really interested in. But for the price that I paid for this one, which, I mean, obviously you'll come to find out what that was, which I'll explain a little later. The amount of parts and the history behind this car and everything, it was just such a good deal. And honestly, I'm stoked. Shout out to Ben and Ryan, his roommate, for going to check it out for me while I was at work today and putting a deposit down on it so I could come up and scoop it after work. But we're gonna go ahead and get home and see. I don't think I'm gonna unload it tonight because that was a bitch. All right, welcome back, guys. It's a couple days later from the last clip you saw. I didn't really film getting the car home and unloading it and all that stuff because it was a pretty big hassle, and it was super dark out when I got home Friday. And so I actually unloaded it yesterday with the help of my friend Gavin after work. Unloading it in its current condition of it not running and having no brakes or e-brake was an experience for sure. But we did it safely, got it off the trailer. It actually was a lot easier to get it off than get it on. So I'm thankful for that. But I'm gonna do a quick walk around of the car, show it to you guys. It's daylight out now. Just stopped raining actually, so it's a good time to do it, I feel like. Yeah, let's check it out. All right, I must say, this car is actually really cool. It's got a pretty crazy story behind it that I've kind of pieced together since I picked it up. It actually used to be owned by a friend of mine. I'll get into that a little bit later and kind of go into a little more detail, but I at least want to show you around it and kind of give you a good feel for it. So here she is in all her glory. 1994 Saturn SL2, 5-speed manual, factory 5-speed. The grandma gold exterior with the beige interior. It's on Mazda Speed Miata wheels that the previous owner actually put on. It used to be on stock Saturn wheels, but they actually look pretty good on the car. I had the option to get them back on the stock Saturn wheels or these, and I actually liked how these looked on the car, so I told him I would take it like this. And I'll get in more of the story of the car a little bit later. We got dogs out here and stuff, so getting into it right now is not exactly the easiest thing to do. But part of the story, if you can read that, the tag expired in 2003. So that'll be something to kind of explain a little bit later. But pretty crazy car overall. On paper, it's a one-owner car, which is pretty rad. And then coming inside, the interior is kind of disassembled at the moment. Various people over the years have been trying to work on the car and mess with it, and so stuff has gotten taken apart. Luckily, majority of the interior is in the back seat back here, so at some point, once the car is running and on the road, I'll try, assembling it all back together. But coming inside, got these very cool time capsule-esque 90s gauges. Battery voltage, you got oil temp, water temp, oil pressure, you got an air fuel wideband, and a boost gauge. Pretty sick. And then, of course, as I showed you the other night, it's only got 91,000 miles on it, which for a 94, this modified, pretty insane, I will say. So as I've mentioned, the car currently isn't running. I did get it to fire off of starting fluid earlier today. It appears we're having some kind of a fueling issue. When I started on it this morning, I was checking all the relays and fuses. I saw that the fuel pump relay, the 10 amp fuel pump relay fuse in the interior glove box was actually popped. It was bad. So I replaced the fuse, turned the key. Fuel pump is now getting power, but for some reason, the car's not building fuel pressure. I've got a fuel pressure regulator in the engine bay I'll show to you. And it's got a gauge on it that shows you the fuel pressure. Either that gauge is bad or it's actually not building fuel pressure. Regardless, swapping that fuse out did not change the way the car behaves at all. It's still cranking to no end and not firing. So I did get it, as I mentioned, I did get it to fire off of starting fluid earlier today. I'll attach that clip right here. Ready. So yeah, pretty short little clip there. Pretty stoked that I got it at least fire and got to hear it running. The video is a little hard to tell, but it does sound very healthy, so I'm very happy for that. But I've got to play around with it some more. I'm thinking it might either be a clogged fuel line or maybe like a bad fuel filter or something like that. The fuel pump and the tank are actually brand new. And earlier, I put about 5 gallons of fresh 93 in it to see if I could get it to feed off of that, and for some reason either the fuel pump's not pulling fuel even though it's brand new, if it's a wiring issue or something stuck, or I don't know, or something's clogged or what have you. But I just need to spend more time on it. I'm positive I can get it running back on the road. Might get some help from some friends on it and see if they have any ideas. But either way, the car's really cool. Needs a lot of work, needs a lot of cleanup. Let me show you under the engine bay real quick though. So coming under the hood here, very interesting setup. Of course you can see the big turbo there in the center. Yeah, fully built motor. It's turbocharged, as you can see. And it's actually the car is actually on an old school Mega Squirt standalone ECU, which is rad. I did not realize that when I bought the car. But I kind of got in touch with some previous owners, and they gave me a little more information on exactly what this car has on it. Not to mention, I actually have all of the paperwork from this motor build back from 99. The car was pretty much put together back in 99, and I have pretty much all of the documentation from it. The car is literally a time capsule. It's sweet. I mean, it's such a weird but cool car. So, engine bay is very clean. All the original stickers and stuff are very legible and clean and not beat up. Fuel pressure regulators back there with the gauge I was mentioning. Got little breather filters, intake, turbo, and manifold, stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, car is clean, very clean, especially since it originated in Michigan. Yeah, so there's the engine bay. So a little more clarification on kind of the purchase and why I did it and why we're in this situation now. My buddy Ben, Ben's Not Mercedes on Instagram, and his roommate Ryan both purchased vehicles. Ryan, actually, it was Ryan who bought one first. I think he was literally just buying a daily. He bought a Corolla for like $1,000 and ran and drove great. Ben got the itch for a new car, went out and bought a 97 Infiniti J30 for $1,000. And so I'm good friends with both of them. And then I got the itch and started scouring Marketplace for something. And at this point, we had started talking about, like, hey, what if we all get $1,000 or less vehicles and do some kind of like a project car, like Top Gear style challenge, and like actually have some fun with it. And so basically, I think the plan is that these different vehicles that we've purchased, I'm sidetracking a little bit, but these different vehicles that we've purchased, I think we're going to do like a road trip to the Tail of the Dragon or something in them and kind of see what happens and just have some fun. But I started scouring Facebook Marketplace and didn't really have a clue what I wanted, honestly. I mean, my background is Hondas. Generally speaking, Hondas are very reliable, so finding a cheap Honda that was going to be doable for something like this would have been ideal, probably, depending on the vehicle. But I started scouring Facebook Marketplace, messaging people, looking at cars. No clue what I wanted. Nothing really excited me, but for $1,000, like, how's it really going to excite you? You know what I mean? So Ben and his roommate are actually in a Facebook group called Radwood. I was not a part of it at the time, but a car got posted, the Saturn, and guy posted and said, hey, who wants this really cool Saturn? Just a couple of pictures. It was like a picture of the outside and a picture of the engine bay, and it was built, turbo and everything. You could see it, and they sent it to me. Ben was like, you need this. And I was like, oh, God. Found out the guy wanted $1,000 for it, as it was. He said it didn't run and drive at the time. He had just put a few new parts on it. He said in a day or two he could probably have it running and moving. I said, all right. Yeah, and it found out it was 45 minutes from me in Talking Rock, where I went to go get it the other night. So messaged the guy, asked him a few questions. At this point, Ryan was actually already talking to him way before I messaged him, because he was interested in the car too, actually. And so we called each other and kind of had a discussion about it. I had to work Friday. There was really not a way that I could have ran up there first thing, because it didn't really seem like the guy was kind of holding it for anyone, because people were commenting like, I've got a deposit for it, I'll put it down right now, I'm 5 states away, but I want it, that kind of stuff. But like, the post was still up and he was still responding to people, so it didn't really seem like it really seemed like he was just waiting for the first person to show up in his driveway with a trailer and take it. I mean, that's really what it was. I had to work Friday, so there wasn't really a good time for me to go early in the day, and I knew if I didn't, then it would probably have been gone But I actually, big shout out to them. They ran up there, checked it out for me while I was at work, called me, gave me the rundown, told me it's a very well put together car. Seems like it's something simple that's going to get it back on the road. That kind of stuff is a good buy, is basically what they assured me. And so they put a deposit down for me to pick it up after work. That's what you saw at the beginning of this video, is me going to get it. And yeah, here we are. Car is pretty cool. Never expected to own a Saturn, like I believe I mentioned already, but definitely a very unique opportunity, very unique vehicle. Should be a lot of fun once it's on the road. I'm excited to drive it, do pulls in it, enjoy it. I don't know if it's something I'll keep long term. It probably isn't. In fact, it'll probably be up for sale by the end of the year, I'm sure. But it's a cool car. A very peculiar, cool car. And I'm excited to own it and kind of do my thing with it a little bit. Gonna kind of do somewhat of a budget build. It is a pretty nice car overall. So I don't want to go too cheap on some stuff that I do with it, but I do want to keep budgets in mind because, I mean, I've got 2 other builds that I'm doing right now, and this thing doesn't need to take all my money. So it's going to be somewhat of a budget build. If you haven't already, check out psychospeed.com. It's a company I work for. We sell aftermarket performance car parts and things like that. That's actually the company that will be supplying most of the parts for this build. So check it out. Psychospeed on Instagram, SAIKO Speed, and then psychospeed.com. So, but anyway, I'm excited. Car's cool. Got it to crank the day on starting fluid. You guys saw that. So, can't be anything too serious. I just got to spend more time on it. But hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a little bit of rambling towards the end, and I do apologize about that. But hopefully we can figure out a way to document this project car challenge, especially when we do the road trip and stuff. I think it'd be a lot of fun, kind of like a Top Gear style with challenges and things like that. So, yeah. Appreciate you guys coming back. I know it's been a while since I've made a video. I apologize. I'm going to try and get better about it, but we will see. So, awesome. See you guys later.